As we head into the final week of the season, my attention is starting to focus on who's going to be here next season. Well, Tony Mowbray's got his plans, but what about me? Who do I think will still be here at Ewood Park come 2021-2022 campaign? We'll talk about that and more in today's Keep or Sell. Video today, we're going to do a Blackburn Rovers keep or sell for the current boys at Ewood Park, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new to the channel, stop what you're doing, swallow what you're doing, smash your subscribe button to get you back into it with all things Rovers related, soon to be Premier League related. Woo! We're not going to be in the Premier League, but anyway, let's get cracking, boys and girls. If you're new, of course, yeah, check out the links down below. I'm on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon as well. And again, if you want to support the channel, you can make sure you give the big old fat thumbs up to the video. So let's get cracking into the old vortex now. Here we go, boys and girls. We're into the old, of course, the keep or sell vortex, and we're going to go through each and every one of the players that I consider to be within the first team or on the fringes of the first team, and let you know whether we should keep or sell them. Of course, it's going to come at you in a bit of a weird point of view. Of course, we'll talk about Mowbray's angle, the club's angle, of course, then my angle, and then ultimately get a destination if they're going to be kept or if they're going to be binned off at the end of the campaign. So let's kick it all off with some of the loanees. Now, let's kick it off with a good loanee, I think. His name is Ewood Park. We'll put him in the centre circle right here. He's coming here. He's done a fantastic job for Manchester City. Realistically, I would like to see him stick around for a full season at the club. Of course, he's been here since January. He's done a fantastic job. Him and Lenihan were great. It might have been a wobbly start, but of course, I think their partnership could grow, and I think he could kick on and join the Taunton and Adebayos of this world on the cusps of potentially an England call-up. So if possible, I would like to see us keep him, but realistically, I don't know if that's going to be on the cards. I'm going to still leave him in the keep half for the time being, because it would be a good logical move for all of us around. I think we've got quite a few young centre backs within the Rovers ranks at the moment that will be competing alongside the Lenihans, alongside the Ayalas, of course, for starting berths. We've got some coming back from very good loans, and some also that will probably look to go back out on loan to get another season of experience. But I would like to see Howard Bellis stay at the club. That's my personal opinion, but realistically, I just got a feeling that it ain't going to happen. Another loanee is an easy one for you. It's Barry Douglas. He came with quite a lot of fanfare, and I was very, very excited when we signed him. I thought, you know what, this smells like a good bit of business. Great set piece taker, allegedly, and an experienced professional, been promoted a few times, but it just never worked out for me. And I think that we're paying quite a lot of money for him to be at this club. So I think those wages will be best served elsewhere. I reckon we'll be exploring the free transfer market to replace some of the outgoing players, and I do believe Douglas will be on his way back. So we're going to stick him back down here. He's gone back to Leeds United. Another loanee. Have I got another loanee? I've got a couple of loanees scattered around here. I've got to find them. It's like a needle in the haystack here, trying to find them. There he is. It is, of course, Tribal from Norwich. He actually been okay sort of player, good option as well. Again, the wages I think are a stumbling block if we were going to keep him full time. I would like to say keep or straight off the bat to add to the midfield ranks, because I believe we're going to be losing quite a few players in the midfield. We'll talk about that in a minute when we get to those numbers. But I think Tribal would be a keeper. He would fall into the category. But again, I think the wages, especially on a return loan, I don't think Norwich are going to be as generous as they are this time around. So I'm going to slide him back alongside Douglas. And again, the wages will be best served elsewhere for me. Who else did we have? We had another loanee, didn't we? We had Branthwaite, wherever he may be. There he is. Of course, another loanee. Again, he started off a little bit rusty. He got into the thick of things, and eventually it kind of didn't work out for him. It was a good option to have at the time being, but unfortunately, I don't think it's worked out as some of the other defensive loans in the past. So again, it's a sell for me. Let's get some of the old nailed on ones here. Let's go talk about Darragh Lenihan, captain, of course, wearing the armband. I think he has to stay. There is a bit of value in him. You could sell him perhaps, but But yeah, why would you? Why would you? You need somebody. If you're gonna maybe throw the ring of fire or ring of destiny around some of the youth here, you do need some experienced heads. He is not an experienced veteran over the age of 30. Of course, he's still reasonably young, and of course, I think he's still has a chance to play in the Premier League. I think if we can give him one more season, and then consider his own options, I think that'll be the right option for all of us. So for me, I'm putting it in the keep pile alongside Holtby Bennett if we could make a partnership about that. What about, where is he? Kaminsky, of course. Yeah, let's talk about Kaminsky. Let's get him out of the way. Yeah, no-brainer. We got to keep him. He's been the best goalkeeper we've had in a long, long time. So I'm going to slide him over here in goal, of course, supporting the dues there. There's money in that. The only query or the only concern is losing him for free in a year or so. So hopefully we've of course tied up any loose ends. How about some young guns, of course? Let's talk about Bradley Dack. Of course, he's injured. He ain't going to go anywhere. No one's going to come in for a bid because they'll be absolutely stupid to do just that. And of course, if we are looking to make some money elsewhere and other player sells, then we do need to keep our creative options. The problem is he's a very, very good player, but unfortunately he's going to be out for the long term. We're talking about March if we're lucky to get him back. But we're going to keep him, and hopefully we're going to keep him for the long haul. Let's get cracking about another interesting character. Is Ryan Bennett, former captain, of course, Thunder Bastard and not extraordinaire. His contract is coming up to an expiry. There was interest from Shrewsbury over the January transfer, and I think it was close. I do think his time is come, and I think he will move on to pastures new. Great character to have around the ground, of course. Good personality, also good with good coaching sort of options there, and maybe he'll come back in a year or two after some experience elsewhere. Maybe if he gets an option, an ability like an option like Shrewsbury, to maybe explore his coaching options, then there might be a chance that he couldn't turn down. So for me, he's on his way out. What about some other? No, there's another loanee. I skipped this one. It is Harvey Elliott, of course. I would love to keep him. I really would. But I think that caveat or that carrot might be floated around us to kind of make things a little bit more pleasing for us. So just the option that maybe we'll be able to keep him. But I think Liverpool will probably look to loan him out to maybe a lower Premier League club next season. I can't get a hold of him. There he is. So unfortunately, I think his time with us will be over, which is a shame because the Rovers fans didn't get to see him in action because of the COVID. You can't really see it. They are behind me. I will scoot them up here. They're very bloody behind me. Get it up there, son. So they're up there, as you can see. So they are the 5 going out already, and I think that's pretty close to the money. So we'll see who else will join them. Let's take a look at another nailed on stay. That is, of course, Lewis Travis. We have to build around players like this again through the academy, like Darrell Lenihan, of course. Rovers through and through. Realistically, we picked him up, we made him, we turned him into who he is, and again, I think he is is key, kind of integral to the team. When you look at this team, of course, the Howard Bellis is out of it. These 3 here, of course, will be essential to anything that we go forward next season. So we need to keep a hold of those, even though there is value in them to sell. I just don't think we can afford to sell too many, or if we're losing 8 or 9, 10 players through contract, bad bit of business there, and maybe a bigger player or 2 going out, then we need to keep a hold of the rest. That's what it's not just sell all your assets and then see what else comes through the ranks. How about a young goalkeeper? Ainsley Pearce has come in. He's done okay for himself. To be fair, he's going to go nowhere. We need goalkeeping options. He wasn't really that great so far, but you know what? It's better than what we've had in the past. What about? Let's move on to another one. How about this guy? I don't know what his contract is. Corey Evans. I believe his contract is up at the end of this season, June 30th. I don't think it's got an option for another. I think we're going to lose him. To be fair, I think we're going to lose the guy. Which will be it's a shame. It shows good leadership potential. I would even go to say maybe offer him a 1-year deal just to keep him on. I think him and Travis will provide a bit of a. But I'm reluctant to sell him. I'm reluctant to let him go. The only thing that's key that would like to say that he could go is the wage. But how old is he? He's only 30. I'm likely to keep a hold of this guy because we are desperate to have players in the ranks, and I'm not saying that we're going to be flush with offers next season, so I'm going to keep a hold of him. On the other hand, though, we have Lewis Holtby, who did come in with a bit of pizzazz when he came on the free transfer a couple of seasons ago. Flattered to see, to be honest with you. I was really excited with this potential, but unfortunately he's not going to stick around. He's 30 years of age. He'll be 31 next season. I think he's going to go back to Germany. If I'm honest with you, if I was offered the chance to sign him up again, I probably would say no. So for me, it's Tartar Holtby. I like you. I think you're great, and I like a lot of these guys here, some of them anyway. And I would like to see them stay. But we've got to talk about what's best for the club. Let's get on forward with another question mark. Is Bradley Johnson. Contract is expiring as well. 34 years of age. He's a good leader. He's a good commander. He's got a goal in him every now and again. And I was very, very excited when we signed him as well. Big boss man midfielder. I would like to see him. I would like to see him stick around again for another year. He's got great off the field personality. Doing great for charity. Great for relief efforts for the community. I think he's been great. I would offer him another deal. I would keep him. I'll keep him at the club. How about another one that's probably going to go out? It is, of course, Charlie Mulgrew. He's actually on the books at Fleetwood Town at the moment. I think his contract is expiring. We've paid a lot of money for him on the wages. Of course, we would have really benefited from his set pieces this season. But again, he's at Fleetwood. I think that's already. If Mowbray was to have left, which he still might do, you just don't know, then Mulgrew might have had an extra life. You might be able to look at him again, but I think he's going to go and join the exodus that is right now. What we're talking about, 7 players, including loanees. Let's talk about another certainty that will stick around. Of course, it is Sam Gallagher. Yeah, not been everyone's cup of tea, and of course I've flirted around a bit, saying he's donkey and all this, but I think there's a striker in there. We just need to play him right down the middle, of course, right here, right there. Yes. So I think if we're going to the way that I hope we're going, which would of course sell a player, invest maybe in wider players, and of course get Gallagher and Brereton down your throat, then we're going to likely get more goals out of them. So for me, Gallagher stays, and I think next season is going to be massive for him. How about some youngsters here then? Joe Grayson, currently on the books. I think he's over at Oxford. I'm just double checking. Not really kept up to date with him. He's not one of the best of the centre backs that are out on loan for me. So is his contract up for expiry? I don't know. I don't know if it is. If it is, I would say see you later, Grayson. Maybe join your papa over at Fleetwood. On the flip side, let's talk about one who had injury at the start of the season. It's Scottie Wharton. Again, I think he's got the makings of a really good centre back. Get him injury free at the start of the season. Him and Lenihan, maybe even if Howard Bellis is not here, which he probably ain't going to be here, but I think Wharton could be a good asset for us at centre back. So for me, he stays. I'm going to do another centre back for you. It is Ayala. Let's get him out of the way. Of course, he's nailed on a 3-year deal and is an extra Middlesbrough man, of course, and he's probably one of Mowbray's best mateys. Unfortunately, he ain't going to go anywhere. Again, we're kind of giving him a bit of a bad rap, really. I think if we can get him injury free as well, there's a good defender in there, a really good defender, and he's still a decent age. I think he's 31 maybe. So that's kind of prime time. And if we can get, I think we could really do wonders if we can get the injuries out of the way. I don't know why we had so many nightmares with injuries this season. It was quite a concern as well. Where's my main man? I haven't got one for Hayden Carter. Which is a shitter. Carter would stay and he would get thrusted into the first team. How about Jacob Davenport? Of course, young gun as well. His contract is not expiring, so he will be here next season for the time being. I think he really needs to step it up next season. I think this is his last chance saloon next season. Him alongside Travis, maybe Corey Evans in a 3-man midfield for the time being. That's not a bad looking team. Again, he just needs a bit more experience, a bit more luck, bit of momentum, and then we might have a decent player out of him as well. What about Gibraltar International Louie Ainsley? Again, he's still a young gun. I don't know how old he is. His contract is not up for expiry, I don't think, so we'll probably see him as well. He might edge closer, or probably get a loan next season. He was with the under-23s for the whole of the season, to be fair. Moving forward, let's talk about Chappers. Harry Chapman doing well on Shrewsbury, but is he doing that well, or have we just been flirted with, of course, the highlights? For me, I think his contract has been extended, I believe. Is he going to get a good part of the action next season? I got a feeling that he ain't. I got a feeling that he isn't. He might get a look in, but I think we might sell him out or loan him out once again. So I think Chapman is probably on his way out, unfortunately. Let's take a look at, of course, Stuart Downing, brought in. He was a tremendous last season. This season hasn't really been given a sniff. Maybe his pay-as-you-play wages are a bit too rich for Rovers or Mowbray. He is an ex-Middlesbrough man, which is quite surprising that he's treated him so roughly this time out. But for me, he's going to go Tartar for good this time. Let's take a look at, of course, Tyler Magalore over in Motherwell, I believe. They've had a good, strong end to the season. I don't really know too much about his endeavours. And again, he is one of the fastest men on earth, but we can't really rely too much on about that. But he's staying here, I do believe. Joe Rankin Costello, of course, key man for the future for me. His contract is expiring at the end of the season. I hope we're going to sign that son of a bitch up. I really do. I don't want to see the likes of him. We've already lost Mahoney. We already lost David Raya from our academy for peanuts, really. So realistically, I need him to stay. I think he could, if Nyambi's going to go, which he does have, we do have an option for another year on that. I think Rankin Costello will provide extra options down the right, if not being the first name on the sheet, depending on how we play our football next season. Rankin Costello could be a key ingredient. I need him to stay, and we need him to stick around. John Buckley, again, he ain't going to go anywhere, of course. Yeah, he's flattered to deceive. Of course, he was tipped to go to United and all this kind of stuff. He probably missed a trick there, really. He hasn't really excelled at the moment. But there's a good player in there. You can see the confidence in the young lad, and he is still very, very young. I'm not saying he's going to be first name on the sheet, but of course I do believe he'll get more action next season. Tyree Stolen, there's no picture there, but he's there. You can imagine him there. He's there. He's getting his hair done. He's getting his hair done. Of course, he was a very, very good pickup for free from Preston. Silly boys. And again, he'll get more game time next season. Daniel Butterworth, of course, as well, youngster. Not really get too much game time, out injured as well this season. Again, if we do lose a striker up top, we could get some more minutes next season. Of course, let's get into big bad boy Brennerton now. Of course, for Chilean's Harry Kane, he's doing okay for himself. He's not getting the goals that I want him to, but again, like Gallagher, if he was played down the middle, we'll get some more goals out of him. I don't think we're going to sell him. We spent too much money on him, and if we do were to sell him, we'll probably take a loss, which will be stupid. I think we just need to believe in the project, which is a big boy, bad boy project. I've left with myself 4 first-team players, which... I've got the question marks. The biggest question marks, of course, we'll start with, of course, Amari Bell. Of course, we've got Pickering coming in. Should be nailed on first choice left back. For me, Bell's contract is expiring. I think we should tap him up for another 2 years, I think, and give him, of course, rotate. He's been okay. He's not been brilliant, of course, but Pickering will get injured. He will get suspended. He will, of course, be out games. We do need options at left back. We already lost Eric Williams. It's either bringing in or bringing someone else in, which could come with more money, which could also be reinvested elsewhere. If we've got a capable option at left back, let's go keep it with Amari Bell. So give him the contract, Tony, and of course keep Amari Bell here. Let's take a look at, of course, Joe Rothwell. That's right. For me, with Dak out injured, they're losing the likes of Holtby. Who else are we losing here? Of course, Elliott, we could get back. Chapman, not really up to the standard for me. I think we've got to really focus a lot about Joe Rothwell. Give him more opportunity. Give him more game time, and of course create the team around him. Of course, when he's got the ball at his feet, he's absolutely intense, and of course I think if we can get him scoring, it could rattle in quite a few goals. He's an old school kind of midfielder for me, with his abilities and all that. You can't really pigeonhole him as a left-sided midfielder. You can't really pigeonhole him as a box to box. He probably is more of a box to box. But anyway, whatever it is, we need to keep him. His contract, I believe, is up for expiry. There might be an option of another deal in there, but let's get him tapped up and stick a 3-year deal on him. And for me, I think he's massive. Ryan Nyambe, then. I want him to stay. I really do, and I think he will stay. I do think he'll stay, but I think we're going to be causing ourselves major problems by keeping him here, and we could probably lose him for nothing next year. So in the meantime, whatever happens, if we are going to keep him, which I think would be great. I think Pickering on the left, Nyambe on the right, Amari Bella's back up, and then if we have Joe Rankin Costello's back up or competing for those spots, I think we'll have a good core team there. Well, good wing backs anyway, especially if we can play 3 at the back. So for me, I think we need to keep him for another keep him at least for another season. Try and tap him up for another few years. I don't like to see all our academy players wasted to nothing, or sold to Stoke or sold to Birmingham or the like. I think we've got to keep Nyambe Nyambe at the club. And then finally, in fact, we'll probably move Nyambe down here because I don't think there's going to be a spot for this guy. There could be a spot for him. It depends on what we want to do. It depends on what's going on. I think Mowbray, let's go. Should we go big picture on this one? Of course, it all depends on what the Venkies decide to do. If they give us money, then guess what? We might be able to keep Adam Armstrong. But of course, in order to keep him, I think we need to get him a new bloody deal. He is, of course, goal scoring machine, but past 2 seasons banged him in for fun. And of course, he's up in the top 2 or 3 goal scorers for the season so far. For me, though, I think we're going to probably sell him. I think it might be too good to turn down, especially over the season. We have seen the likes of Everton, West Ham, Brighton, all looking at him. He is English, of course. It kind of sidesteps the old Brexit rules and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of nailed on. Easy pickings for the likes for them. And hopefully there are teams just like that. Let's go back to, of course, the screen here. So I'll put him in there. Hopefully there is 3 or 4 teams looking at him because that will just drive up the price, of course. And West Ham have done it. They've done it in the past. They brought Jared Bowen from the Championship and he succeeded. They brought Buenda, of course, from Brentford and he succeeded. Ollie Watkins has done well as well over at Villa. Mopay has done okay for Brighton. There are bargains to be had in the Championship. For me, I think if we can sell one of our assets for 20 some million pounds and maybe get 10 million back to reinvest, I think that's a stupid not to do. We've got to do it. Fortunately, I love Adam Armstrong, great goal scoring machine. We don't get these very often. We'll go for probably through a barren spell of goals next season. But they come and go. You know, Jordan Rhodes came and went. Adam Armstrong, of course, will be the next. That's it, my boys. That's my keeper sell for this year. Of course, we'll keep an eye on the transfer situations over the next few weeks, heading into, of course, the start of the new season. Speaking of the new season, we've got lots of content on the channel, so make sure you stick around, and by doing that, make sure you smash the subscribers as well as hit the little bell. Check out the links down below on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon if you want to support the channel in another way. Besides all that, I'll see you all soon for the next one. Until then, I am out.